You know, I was on mixtapes, bro. And back in the 90s, being on a mixtape, on a Tony Touch mixtape was like, was dudes, you know. I'd go and I find other dudes who did mixtapes. And I was out there. Like I was in the clubs. I was in every event. I made it my business to go. I'm young. Last thing you want to do when you're young was stay in your mom's house. You know what I mean? In your
Right.
parents' house.
Right.
And I was lucky that I learned how to ride the train. And if I found something that was happening that I could sneak into, I was in it. And it was almost every day because, you know, like I told you, Tony was my DJ. So he DJ everywhere. So I just go to everywhere he was DJing at.
Right. So, was there ever a bidding war for you guys?
There was a bidding war for me when I left the Arsonists.
Okay.
So as far as us Arsonists, nah, you know what happened is Bobito was like, "Yo, what are you guys doing with the session?" Because Tony Touch, what's up, Dzilla? That's Tony's brother. Tony Touch gave Bobito the session on cassette. You know what I mean? And Bobito heard it, and Bobito was playing it, and we didn't have a plan for it, you know. And what ends up happening is Bobito had a relationship with Q, you know what I mean? Q Unique, and he's like, you know, let's have a meeting. So it was me, Q, and him, and he's like, yeah, I want to put out your record. And that was it. After that, we started buying Bentleys. I got a mansion. You know what I mean? I got fake breasts. You know, everything was good.
Right. So that led to you guys getting a singles deal with Fondulum Records.
Fondulum Records, yeah. That's Bobito's company, 12-inch deal. And everybody who's in here, here's the math. You get signed. Bobito's situation, which was almost everybody in the underground, if you did this business, was I invested in producing the vinyl, right? Send it to the factory, whatever that cost is. I'll make the money that I spent on producing the vinyl, and then the profits I split 50-50 with the artist. That's what Bobito did with us. And we did 2 12-inches with him and one with MC Search through DJ Eclipse.
Okay. And then you guys got to Matador Records in '99.
Yes, that was beautiful.
So take me back. What was going on between '96 and '99?
We were going raw in every bitch that we was banging now. So, you know, the good thing is, like, I'm doing this show and I try not to curse or anything, but
so
you know, I'm a wild guy, and you know, it's got to come out, you know. And then show up your gems. I like to just be smiling, bugging out, but
right.
I'm definitely a wild dude, and I subdue it a lot only to continue being professional. You know what I mean? So, so what happens with Matador is they were independent alternative rock record label, brother. You know what I mean?
Right.
And what ends up happening is that they start seeing our 12 inches, and they're like, "What are you guys doing with this music?" You know what I mean? And it was like, wait, you guys got an office? You guys taking this serious? So it was a really fun ride. You know, they didn't know much about hip hop culture, and we were their kind of like project. You know what I mean? And it was really good. It was really, really, really fun. The Arsonists didn't like that I was befriending the guys at Matador because they would take me out to hang out with them.
So you were like Eazy-E, and they were like Jerry Heller.
Yeah, they were like NWA, or maybe in the sense where in that time where I was like, yo, this was all new territory for us, you know. And when I grew up, I was at New Music Seminar watching what Puffy was doing and looking at all these artists and what they were doing. And not that I was that savvy, not that I was that business savvy, or I was trying to do the solo thing at that moment. But I just wanted to strengthen our relationship with them because I knew hip hop had a bad rap, you know, to other genres, and I just wanted them to believe that we could pull it off.
Going there, let's see, what What was the game plan going into your solo, or I'm sorry, the group album?
Ah, oh wait, what we doing? The
What was,
Arsonist?
yeah, the
Oh,
Arsonist.
okay. So yeah, the game plan on there was we had our own studio where we were using the money that we got from the 12 inches. We actually got an apartment because everything was done out of my parents' house, and then it was almost an excuse for Q to have a place to live because Q was living in my house. So we set all the equipment there, and then we were recording a bunch of music. So then when we had the opportunity to release a record, um, the truth is, bro, because I look back a lot. We didn't have a. Of course, everybody wants a Damon Dash or a Puffy or something like that, a senior. We didn't have a senior, and I think the senior could have been Tony Touch. I think he could have been that guy, even though he was also kind of wet behind the ears, but he was kind of doing it. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
if there was anybody I'd let do that, it would have been him. But I think the rest of the guys and him didn't really click. So that's what it was, and I loved him then, and I love him now, but I wish we had some guidance. But the truth is, if I could tell you anything, the music that we did do was very it was to the ground level in the sense where it was pure hip hop. It talked about DJs, it talked about graffiti, it talked about scratching and b-boys. We said it in words that these were the elements of hip hop, and we were also able to travel around the world and tour for like 3 years just based off the 12-inch. And then when the album came out, it validated all that hard work that we did. Rest in peace, Graham Oliver, a homie that Vin Vital keeps mentioning. But continue, my brother.
What can you disclose what the details were of the deal with Matador? Was it just a one album deal, two album
It
deal?
was $55,000 we got signed to do the first album. We ended up spending 200 and like $250,000. What happens there, so people could understand that math, if you even want to digest it. But I like to say these numbers, and I hope that a lot of people in retrospect are able to say these and feel comfortable sharing these numbers, because as a community we could learn. We
Right.
could learn, like, what was it like, or what were they dealing with. And of course, if I have to say this, and I'll say it because some people won't know, it's not like they gave me a check for 55,000 or $250,000. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's where they're like, record the project for this amount of money, but then we want a video, and then there was an argument with the video because the song we wanted to do a video for, Pyromaniacs, didn't have one of the members. And it was like, wait, the first video we're going to do is not going to have all the members. It's going to look like it misrepresents us. So, it's very tricky, because what happens is that we do Pyromaniacs, and the B-side was the song called Backdraft. So we wanted to do two videos in one, right? This video cost also $55,000. Only to include the fifth member who was missing on the first song. What ends up happening, MTV sends us a list of things you shouldn't do on how you're not gonna get played, and we did everything. We made a 2 video. We put fire in the video. We learned that when Puffy did the fire, because you'd always try to find a scapegoat, like, oh, it's because we're underground, or oh, it's because we do real. You always try to find those things, but Hype Williams was making the fire blue. And it, of course, it's art, but once again, we didn't have that senior dude to kind of like lay it down. We had a female, a wonderful woman, who was our manager, but she was from the streets. You know what I mean? Like, she was down to she was a manager, but she was down to fight everybody. So
Right.
it was really interesting in that time. So, you know.
Can you take us back to making that album? How difficult was it coming up with topics and subject matters and agreeing?
It was tough, man, because I used to rollerblade in the street, and dudes used to be like, "Yo, that ain't what thugs do," and I'm like, "I'm not a thug, fam." Nah, I'm kidding.
You had me for a minute.
Yo, so your question was, sorry, what was your question?
Just you know, so many members in the group. How hard was it to
Bro,
come up?
listen, I could show you. I got graphs. I was a crazy person in the Arsonists, bro, because you got to understand what I did was there was a lot of us, and I wanted everything to be equal. I didn't want to be the main guy. You know what I mean?
Right.
I had to kind of I had to make sure, like, okay, if this guy and this guy and this guy on every song, I need to take out one of those guys to put one of the guys who is not getting a lot of burn.
Right.
And in retrospect, it was a mistake. I shouldn't have done that. The
What?
reason why I say it is the reason why I say that is because the drive of a person is important, and I didn't realize that I was hindering or kind of like not rewarding the hard work at that moment. And it's funny because I'm saying me, but I wanted everything to be equal. I was very much like, nah, you're my brother. We got to do this at the same level. You know what I mean?
Right.
Um, what's up, Mary? She's a beautiful person. But yes, that's how I kind of was doing it.
So what about like coming up with concepts and topics? Was everybody agreeing? Was it like, nah, that's
Yeah,
whack?
bro, we have mad songs. There was only one song that I did with Tony Touch and from my demo with him that was called Frenemies. That they did a song that Freestyle and Q did a song called Venom that was about backstabbers, and Frenemies is in the title. It was about about the same thing, and that was the only thing where they wanted me on that song, and I was like, I kind of already got this song, so we merged it on the album. Once again, in retrospect, I should have just put that verse on Venom and not had the second half.
Right.
But conceptually, man, the dudes just needed to represent for the culture that brought us all together and made us fall in love with hip hop.
Can you take us back to some of your best memories of creating that album?
Man, I'm gonna tell you like this, for real, for the people who are here. The reason why I never did a song, a project with Static Selector, who's my BFF, is because when I make and made music, my intent is to have fun. I want to laugh. I want to bug out. I want to have a good time. I don't drink. I don't smoke. I just like to have a blast. You know what I mean?
Right.
So that when I'm making the album with the Arsonists, bro, we were having such a great time. We were having so much fun, dying laughing at 6 a.m., arguing about KRS third verse. Was he talking about this or that? We were doing a game where we run through all the alphabets and we try to name a rapper from AC Alone, Big Daddy Kane, D Nice, we'll run through, like, we were super hip hop. And, as I got into, later on and through my career, I not that I fell out of love with it, but I realized a lot of people who were making it were where it wasn't my wave.
Right.
I bug out, B. Peace, unity, and having fun. That's the foundation of it.
Right.
Having fun. The reason why I'm not going, in an institution or in prison is because I watched my parents have fun. In the
Right.
worst scenario, they knew how to smile through all that. And I'm sure a lot of people here know what I'm talking about. But,
Right.
Having a good time was an escapism.
Can you take us back to some of your favorite tour lineups and tour? Give us maybe a great tour memory. Where's the harmonica at?
It's somewhere. But yes, salute to my girl Earth One. But yes, one of the great tour memories, I got a few. This was Busta Rhymes. This was the laminate for it. Busta Rhymes, when I was the opening act. This was after Arsonists. Bro, I went solo and I was like killing it. I was out there, my friends, some artists used to call me and be like, yo, D, I got 3 albums and you don't have any album and you stay on tour. What are you doing? And I'm like, bro, I'm not trying to be pegged. I'm not trying to just be, I'm trying to have a blast. My greatest one is, because I have the DVD, is this one right here. Anger Management, Eminem tour. That was Destroy's personal. With the Arsonists, with these guys who held me back like I was a dirty rat. Salute to them. Was we paid $1,200 to be on tour with the Roots. Once again, I say these numbers so people understand, right? So people understand these things, right? It's important, you know.
Right.
And maybe the concept of like you pay to be on tour, that's how it was. Like if you really wanted to be in front of an audience, of a sold out crowd, or an audience that was receptive and purchased music and be associated with a bigger act, that's what you have to do. So we're in Europe, and this was inside Elysée Mama, which is a Paris venue where You Got Me by the Roots was a big hit at the time with Erykah Badu. So we were on that tour.
This is about 99, 2000.
This is 99, yes. When you come out and you're like, the Roots live album was recorded on that tour, right? So we opened up for them, and when we opened up on the tour, nobody was in the crowd. You know what I mean? Because we're the opener for the opener, who was Wyclef's brother and sister, Sadiq or something like that. Sadek or something like that. My point is, we did that for the whole tour, but the Roots would let us come back on stage at the end and like dance for them, you know. So it was, we had that good fortune of being like those hip hop kids. But you know, there was Scratch, who was from the Roots. Like he came into the dressing room on the first day of the tour. And I'm not mad about like having to pay to be on tour, but I'm also like, you know, respect everybody's space. And he came into our dressing room kind of like, yo, where's the blunt? And we don't get down like that. You know what I mean? So it was like, you know, you ain't see the name on the door, B? It's like, you know, it says the Arsonist. And he's like, nah, come on, man. We good. And I'm like, point to anybody here and say one person's name, and then we good.
Right.
And he didn't know on anybody's individual name. But this is like, you know, back then, it's a different energy, bro. It's like, you know, we B-boys, we love bugging out, but I still got this twitch of hood rat in me, you know what I mean? But what was the great story of it is that in Elysée Mama, in the song, he says, I met her at a club. It was Elysée Mama. So I'm in the crowd because every day of that show, I watched them perform. And I toured with this guy, like I told you, Eminem, for 3 months. And every day I watched this show from the crowd. And when Black Thought said, Elysée Mama, bro, Questlove stopped playing music, and the whole crowd roared for like 15 minutes.
Wow.
And it was like a great moment. But one moment, I don't know anybody ever tell you, is Old Dirty Bastard versus Black Thought, Irving Plaza, 1995, face to face. It's crazy. But anyway.
Dope. Going into your guys' second album, You're Missing.
What up, Kinetic? Sorry about that. One
right.
of the brothers is here. But go.
Going into 2001's Date of Birth, You're Missing from that album. What's going on at this point?
So the first album, I got rich. I got rich,
bought a
fam.
mansion.
I got rich. I bought a mansion. Like I tell you, I got new breasts. I was good. Got a bag, fixed my teeth. Nah. What happened at that moment was we were on tour, and we were touring a lot in the United States and in Europe. And it was becoming a very tough thing because if you're on tour with somebody for that long, it gets difficult. You know what I mean? Right. And one of my great brothers who are here, his Kinetic Energy, he actually, and I'm going to tell his story because I love him and I knew him since I was a little kid. The way he bowed out of the Arsonists. Like, that's how much we were arguing. We were arguing about little petty things. And it was like to a point where he was like, yo, bro, I love y'all too much. I love y'all too much to keep arguing with you guys.